सो हेलो एवरीवन, आज की वीडियो में हम लोग बात करेंगे हाउ टू हैव दी बेस्ट रूटीन ऑफ योर लाइफ एंड मेक योर डेज एज फ्लॉलेस एज पॉसिबल to get everything in your life. So before we plan the day, I would like to discuss 3 points and one bonus point. So let's get into it. So first of all, you need to start thinking in terms of years. If you cannot plan your years, you cannot plan your days. क्योंकि आपको पता ही नहीं होगा कि आपको लाइफ में एक्चुअली चाहिए क्या. So a good starting point would be start thinking about what do you want to do with your health, your career, your relationships and your hobbies. क्योंकि इन्हीं 4 चीज़ों के अराउंड your energy and your time will flow. So it's good to plan these. Second thing is you need to start planning your days around energy and time both. Not just think of your day in terms of time alone. So let's say you manage to make yourself sit down and study, but your energy levels are low, you're feeling bored, you cannot study because basically you are forcing yourself to sit down for 4 hours or 2 hours and make yourself study, which is not possible. There is another case when you don't have time but you have a lot of energy. Okay, so you are busy with things and a lot of ideas are in your mind that you want to study this way, that way, or you want to certain things, you want to do certain things, but you don't have the time for it. At that time we feel anxiety because we have a lot of going in our head, but we don't have the time to execute it. So to have the productivity, you need to make the balance with these two, and I will tell you how. First of all, you need to think about your energy. So your energy is basically decided by 4 things: meals, your sleep, your caffeine intake, and your why. First, let's get into meals. Your meal should be ideally high in protein and low in carbs because carbs cause you to have a blood sugar spike and then drop, which cause your energy to plummet. Even if you are sitting there, your energy would be so low that you cannot bring yourself to study because there is not enough oxygen going to your brain because of this sugar drop in your blood level. Okay, so you need to make your meals as high in protein as possible and as low in carbs as possible. I know carbs are important, but you can save them for dinner when you're going to sleep after few hours. Anyway, second biggest factor of your energy level is sleep. You need 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and this is not just joke. You need to be serious about it. I can make an entire 2-hour video on how to get the best sleep and why your sleep is so much important. But just trust me for a while and start taking 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Now, some people ask about what about nap? What if I feel so much draggy in the day that I feel like I need to take a nap? So you can take a nap, but keep it to one nap max in a day, and do not make it more than 20 minutes because of something called circadian rhythm and sleep cycle. Okay, so if you make your nap more than 20 minutes, your brain will start actually going into the sleep. And after that, if you'll try to get back to work, it would be actually possible. And it will take you like 3 to 4 hours to get out of bed and have the energy to do the work. So I hope you understand how much sleep is important. Third thing is caffeine. Okay, so you can strategically plan your caffeine intake because it gives you a boost in energy for some time, and that boost need to be planned, else it will ruin you because of 2 factors. Number one is caffeine intolerance, and second is getting the boost at the wrong time. And there are a few rules about caffeine. So do not have caffeine 8 hours before your bed because it has something called a half life of 4 hours. Okay, and I will explain it later in some other video, but you can take this rule for face value. Second thing is max 2 times caffeine, and there is also one thing that I want to explain that is called dry energy. Dry energy is actually a great place to be if you want to study more and get into the flow. So dry energy is when your stomach is actually empty and your caffeine is high. So I will explain this later in the video. And the third and most important thing is why. Your why should be clear because, as the famous quote goes, he who has a clear why can answer almost anyhow. So, more on this in another video. Now, let's get into time. So, your time would be basically decided by 2 things: your duties and your fixed things. Your duties can be like dropping someone and picking someone, whether they are your parents, your sibling, or anyone else, and other things like bringing milk, which you need to go and get it done. Second thing are fixed things, like if you're living in a PG, the time that you can have your food, your lunch, your dinner are basically fixed. So you need to pivot your schedule around those things. Second thing is college and classes. You may have college classes or coaching classes and you cannot change their time. So the best idea would be to adapt to them. And the third thing is, do not expect to have the perfect routine from day one. Okay, give yourself 30 times and others to adjust, because someday you will wake up at 4 when you have planned to wake up at 5, and someday you will wake up at 6 when you have planned to wake up at 4. So it's quite messy, and get your body and other people around you to get used to your time. Do not impose your routine on anyone. I did that mistake some point in my life, and basically everyone does that who is trying hard to get their shit together. Anyway, before we begin, I have a bonus tip, that is to have a vision board, something like this. Oh, yeah, here you can see I have planned like 6 years of my life, and it's never guaranteed, but it just gives you a direction. Speed is up to you, but it gives you a rough good direction to follow. So when you are feeling directionless, you can always get back to the routine, get back to the vision board, and decide what you need to do. We are humans after all, and we fall flat around plans a lot of time. But if you have something like that, you can get back to work and give yourself a direction. Anyway, let's get into the work. So now we are going to plan our complete 24 hours as one whole slot. And let me tell you something, I have made a rough video around this, but in this video I will go into details. I go to sleep usually around 8:30 to 9 at bed, and wake up at 4. So I get around 3.5 hours of sleep here and 4 hours of sleep right here. Okay, so that makes like 7.5 hours of sleep. Then I take a 20 minutes break or nap during noon, and that makes roughly around 8 hours of sleep. The first thing that I do in the morning when I wake up is I want to study whole. I want to study as long as I can, and in one long uninterrupted chunk of time. But I cannot do that because I have some things to do, like at 7:30 I have to go for milk. At 9:30 I have to drop my mom at school. So I cannot change these variables. So I will try to revolve my thing around these. So when I wake up at 4 and I want to study for whole these 3.5 hours, that is not possible. The reason is not my energy, but the environment around me, because around 5:30 starts the Gurdwara radio, which is right next to my home, and it goes for like 1 hour. So I cannot study in that hour, because either A, I need a noise cancellation headphone, which I do not have right now, or I can make myself study regardless, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So what I do instead is I study from 4 to 5:30 for 90 minutes. I just get coffee and sit there and start study. No bullshit routine, no 15 step morning optimization, nothing like that. I just grab the coffee and go to work. After that, from 5:30 to 6:30, since I cannot study at that time, I go to gym, which helps me have high energy throughout the day. After that, I come to home, and from 6:30 to 7:30, I usually do all my chores like bath, breakfast, and other stuff. After 7:30, I get these 2 hours of uninterrupted time in which I can study. So for those 2 hours from 7:30 to 9:30, what I do is I have decent energy because I have recently taken a bath and I don't have any work no time soon. So what I do is for these 2 hours I study, and I keep all my notes with me and all my water bottle and whatever stuff that I'm going to need. I keep it right next to my bench, so I don't have to stand again and again and disturb my flow. So these 2 hours I go study. After that, from 9:30 to 10, I drop my mom at school, and then I'm free. Then again I go to library, and from 10 to 12 I study. At this time, I start to feel hungry, so I grab a coffee, but I don't have my food because food will make me slow down. So I have a coffee, and this is where I start the dry energy flow, which is very impressive if you've if you have ever got that in your life. I only allow myself to have a coffee, and this is the last coffee of the day. After that, I will go to study and stay a bit hungry. The hunger actually disturbs me a bit because your stomach is making these constant sounds, but you will get used to it because the flow that you get in this hunger dry flow state is actually very impressive. I definitely recommend everyone to try that at least once. Okay, after 12, I need some break, so I usually come at home and have my lunch. So from 12 to 12:30, let's say, I have my lunch. After my lunch, I immediately do not feel any drag or need to take rest. So I go back to study, and from 12:30 to 1:30, I study for another 1 hour. So around this time, I start to feel very sleepy. So I get back home and I take a 20-minute nap from 1:30 to 1:50. 20 minutes, and then I give myself 10 minutes to get back and start studying again from 2 to 4, 2 hours, because at 4 I need to go and bring my mom from school. That roughly takes around half hour. So from 4 p.m. to 4:30, I grab some snacks and get back to study. And now this is going to be the last chunk of study for the day, so I try to give it my best. I listen to some music or 40 hertz alpha waves or whatever I like to, but I push myself to study for another 2 hours. So from 4:30 to 6:30, that's another 2 hours study. Now 6:30, I came home and get dinner. Now some of you might think 6:30, seriously, who gets dinner at 6:30? Well, I do, because ideally it would be best for your health if you get your dinner 3 hours before your sleep. So I usually sleep around 8:30 to 9. So this is a very good time to have dinner. After having my dinner, I like to take a walk or talk to my friends or just watch some random documentary on YouTube. So that's pretty much it. And I have been very consistent about going to sleep around 8:30 to 9. My phone goes D&D by default on 8:30, which help me reduce any last minute distractions which can interrupt my sleep. And I have been a bit consistent with it. So that's pretty much it, how you plan your day. So before we end this video, I would like to say thank you for watching this far, and I hope you got some value out of it. If you have any ideas or try this schedule and you get some benefit out of it, please let me know. And if there are any things that you would like me to improve in the video, please let me know as well. Thank you.